Okay. This video here, okay, types of closing tactics we use internally. Okay, it's a video, it's about 12 minutes. It goes over specific types of closes that you can do on the actual call live, right? So basically shows you how to beef up the offer live on the spot and shows you how to get the yes live on the spot. So first of all, Alice, you must deploy this stuff first, right? Let's just say you deployed this stuff in this video. And then they still said, yes, I have intentions of signing. I just don't have money right now, but I will sign soon. After having deployed the stuff in here, then that's what I'm going to go over today, how to address those situations that you're in, assuming that you've already gone through this. You've already gone through the types of closing tactics we use internally. You go through this, and then if we're still seeing that same issue of people coming in, without that, with that same remark of, hey, I'll pay you later, I don't have it now. That's what we're going to go over today. So first, Alice, directive business is this. Just let's get this done. Just review that and deploy that in your sales, and then we'll review that together. And then with regards to, hold on, let me turn my video on here. Can you guys see me okay? Perfect. Okay. All right. So ultimately, Alice, you're in a position where you've done the demo. Okay. You have spoken to this client. They're interested. Excuse me. So you've spoken to this client. You've run them through a sales call. They've indicated to you, I have intentions of signing, however, in 1 week when I get paid. Okay. So first thing I want to look at here is the master sales script. Right, that's the first thing I want to look at, because we've actually most likely already created rebuttals for this exact rebuttal. Okay, when someone says I can do it myself, someone says I don't like your strategy, let's see, let me talk to my wife, send me information, let me talk to my marketer, I've been burned before. Okay, so then we have self closes. Okay, there's this, and then there's also this. So let me just see if we could source one out, Alice, about pricing. Okay, so we got the self close, we got the callback, we got the no phone, check my phone. Liquid, okay. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, Alice. I'm going to give you the no money lines, okay? So if anyone says I have no money, you say something like this, right? So this is a template that you can use to say it on the call to build a ridiculous amount of confidence. When someone says I don't have money, you say these things. Okay, I'm going to give you a bunch of them. You have to change these for your offer, obviously. So it's written out in the exact way you should say it. So try and say it as close as possible to the way this is written. However, you need to match it, obviously, for your offer, right? So not liquid, not liquid, not liquid. These are all not liquid. Okay. All right. So first of all, let's do this. Oops. Do this. Let's go into Google Docs, create a new Google Doc. I'm going to paste these power phrases here for no money and say Alice Langholz. Okay, first of all, incorporate these immediately into your business. So have Shane or someone on the team, or even yourself, basically go through this list. It's not that many things. It's not that much. Just go through it. and basically match this to your offer. And from now on, when someone says no money, you not only, first of all, have to have this as a prerequisite. So first of all, deploy this at all times, right? Assuming you've deployed this, your next step is this, right? If you've deployed that and then they're still saying I have no money, then these are the things you're going to want to say to build confidence. And if they're still saying the thing after you've said these different rebuttals, we'll get into ways to sweeten up the deal, as well as ways to actually get the person to commit to take the leap. Okay. So basically you have your demo, which is your sales call. Okay. They have intentions of signing, however, and assuming you deployed this as well as this, right? You deployed those two initiatives. Now we're going to go to the next stage, right? So let's just say this kind of breaks up into two sort of sections. You need a way to sweeten the deal. Okay. The other thing you need is a automatic system for follow-up. Okay. Now, if you can have this meets this manually, okay, I'm gonna specifically write the word manually sweeten the deal. So you go here, there's the demo, and then there's the two options here. Okay. First one being, sweetening the deal manually, and that's through, you can only do that through call, email, text message, like literally manual communication. So calling, emailing, SMS, that's pretty much it. Okay. And these are all manual, right? So manual. So that's manual, and then this is going to be automatic. So in terms of the way this works, you have to, in your manual outreach, when following up, this is all about sweetening up the deal. So when you're manually reaching out, you're not saying, hey, I'm calling to follow up, or hey, like, how'd you like the agreement? Can we proceed, kind of thing. You're looking to specifically call them and sweeten up their deal to make them say yes. So there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a few ways to do that. I mean, when you reach out, we can go over a couple ways, but ultimately, hold on one second. When you reach out, you can do a couple things. First thing is this. Here, I'll put this here, that, and then there. All right. So now that you're sweetening the deal, effectively what needs to happen here is you need to offer different things to get them to proceed. So, one of them could be a guarantee. So let's just say you offer someone a guarantee, Alice, in the follow-up section. So you've already gone through the pitch, the pricing, everything. You offer them a guarantee, right? So that's one option. Another option could be, and this is a money back guarantee. And then alternatively, you can offer what's called a service guarantee. Those are different guarantees. Money back guarantee means you get your money back. Service guarantee means the contractor will work for free until the solution has been delivered to the person who purchased, right? So those are the two types of guarantees you could run through. If those still didn't work, another thing you can do is you can slice the price into either a 2-pay or a 3-pay. Okay, what that means is they don't pay the full thing up front, Alice. They pay 50% now and 50% in 30 days, or 50% now, 50% in 60 days, whatever it is. The other thing is a 3-pay would be 50%, 33% now, 33% 30 days, 33% again in another 30 days, right? So, giving payment options. This is more of like payment plans type thing, right? So you offer them a money back guarantee first, service guarantee. You actually want to swap these two. So hold on. Give me one sec. So this we're going to delete. This we're going to delete. Let's put the service guarantee here, and let's put the money back guarantee here. Okay. You want to offer it in the sequence, and you don't want to remember, Alice, you're not doing this all in the same call. Keep that in mind, because imagine if I called you and I was like, hey, let's proceed. Yeah, I'll give you a service guarantee. You're like, no. I'm like, oh, well, I'll give you a money back guarantee. You're like, no. I'm like, oh, well, let me give you a 2-pay, right? It sounds too beggy. You never want to be beggy, right? You always want to have the position of power, the position of authority, the position of status delta. And someone who has status delta doesn't give a shit about whether one client or the other proceeds because they have a ridiculous amount of clients coming in. So you almost have to take a step back and have more of a solidified sort of status delta approach to the way you sell. And then in the first reach out, you're going to manually sweeten the deal, right? This way, right? Let's just say that's a no. Okay, great. That's fine. Hang up, have a nice day. Maybe send them some value or whatever it is. And then, 2 days later, 1 day later, reach back out and offer this, 2 days later, 1 day later, reach back out and offer this, right? So you're kind of just maintaining the relationship. Like there's a concept in marketing. Okay. And this is a separate note. It's called reach. Okay. And the second concept is called frequency. Okay. So your goal with reach versus frequency is you want to reach as many people as humanly possible, right? So if through this system, I'm constantly getting on one demo, if I have one demo going through this, it's not going to be the same. If I have 50 demos going through this either or process here, then my reach will be higher. Therefore, my results will be higher. Okay. So reach is number one. Reach is how many people, right? How many actual people are seeing my sales process or content, right? And then of the ones that are seeing it, how many times are they seeing it now? How many times are people seeing? How many times are the same people seeing my sales process or content, right? So you could have, let's just say 1,000 people you reached here, but you could have frequency of 4,000, right? So you could have like 1,000 people came in through this system, okay? But the frequency at which they were hit with touch points by us, maybe we had about, 4,000 touch points total from the 1,000 people. So what does that mean? That means the 1,000 people saw my content or my sales process on average of 4 times each. That's why 1,000 people saw it 4 times. The frequency was 4,000 units. Therefore, the frequency is 4x. Okay, so this would be the frequency, 4x, right? So the more you have frequency, now look, if I go like this and I change the frequency to, let's just say 10x, okay? If these same 1,000 people are hearing from me 4 times, then it's not going to be as successful as if the same 1,000 people here heard from me 10 times. Would you agree? Raise your hand if you would agree with that. Okay, boom, we got some hands raised. Let's go. Good stuff. So with that being said, it's called frequency, right? So, and that's what we're trying to solve for with this post-demo activity, this post-demo action that happens. You need to solve for this, which is frequency. Because let me ask you this. You guys, has everyone here eaten at a Subway before? Like Subway Eat Fresh, like, eating a Subway sandwich. Just let me know that you've done that. Okay, who's eaten at Subway before? Okay, we have a few people eating at Subway. Nice. So let me ask you this. When you eat at Subway, are you going to see a commercial? How many Subway ads do you see? You probably see tons of Subway ads, right? All kinds of Subway ads all the time, on billboards, on, bus shelters, on all kinds of, different ways, right? So, I mean, if you're seeing those, if you're constantly seeing those ads, it's not like when you see the ad, you're going to immediately stop what you're doing and go and buy a Subway sandwich. Even if you're hungry, the likelihood of you just seeing an ad and doing that is very slim. Yet, why is Subway advertising so much? Why are they constantly advertising, showing you tons of ads and things like that? Like, why are they doing that? It's because of this, right? It's the frequency concept, that the more touch points you have with a person, regardless of if they take action now or later or in 2 weeks or in 3 months, it doesn't matter when they take action. The frequency at which that person has seen your offer is ultimately the indicator of how successful your sales process is, right? And when I say frequency, I'm not saying that they're only seeing automated shit, right? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that even your manual outreach aligns with this same concept called frequency. Now you got to get corporate wide follow-up done as well automatically, which we'll go through in a second. So if you have the corporate wide automatic stuff going out mixed with the direct one-to-one manual stuff going out, your frequency will be a lot higher. And when your frequency is a lot higher, you tend to build relationships, right? Alice, let me ask you this. If I met you one time at a conference, let's just say in Texas as an example, I met you in Texas at a conference. We spoke one time. We built trust together. We had a great conversation. You loved me. I loved you. We were, getting along and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, I leave the event, you leave the event's over. Congrats. We met each other. I have your LinkedIn profile as a connection. You have my LinkedIn profile as a connection. Now, what happens next, right? Like I met you one time. Now, if I had met you at, let's just say, a more organized event where it was like not a one-time event, but rather a weekly event or some kind of meetup or some kind of ongoing book club or whatever it is, right? The idea is that I'm seeing you constantly, maybe once a week, right? Once a week, twice a week, whatever it is. But I won't consider working with you, Alice, in business, even though we're in the same book club, until we've like been in the book club together for at least, a month, 2 months, potentially, a couple of weeks, whatever it is. Like I have to warm up to you in business and you have to warm up to me in business such that we can now conduct business together because of our relationship being established, right? So same concept here, except you're doing it with cold people who have no idea who you are. And you're not doing it in an organized fashion. You're the one that has to organize it yourself. So there's no organized institution or school or yoga class or book club that's keeping people coming. It's you have to create that solution that keeps people coming. That's what needs to happen here. And so the way that can work is by offering, like your goal is this, Alice. Your goal is to potentially even offer your program completely free of charge, if not lower price, just to get as many people in as possible. Once you get 20 or so people in, you now will have a ridiculous amount of case studies and proof to be able to demand not $497, but like $2,997. The validity of that program increasing in its value will depend on how many people we push over the edge in the early stages, right? Without breaking the bank, without going and spending a ridiculous amount of money on marketing, right? We just want to solve for a cold outreach, delivering this experience. So there's a few things, right? Like there's a few ways we go about it, and I'll kind of show you what we do. So first thing we do on our demos, Alice, is we ask questions, right? So we ask for the current situation. What are you currently doing? How many appointments are you currently booking? What CRM are you currently using? Tell me how many salespeople you have, right? Like this is all the current situation questions. You would have questions around your offer, but current situation. Then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and just ask them questions about their future situation. How committed are you to solving this problem? Like, what does your sales process look like in 90 days? How much revenue do you want in 6 months, etc.? That's the future question. What you're trying to do there, Alice, is you're trying to create a delta between the current situation and the desired situation, the future situation. Once there's a difference, a delta between the two, Alice, you can position your product as the only way to get from current situation to desired situation. Does that make sense? If so, raise your hand. Okay, perfect. So it's also the way you do your demos, because people are going to proceed with you. You just have to make the gap there of current versus desired extremely large. The bigger that gap, the better it is for you. And then the more relevant and justified your product is to bridge that gap, it'll be a lot cleaner for your sales process. So the way you do this is current situation questions, desired situation questions. Okay. Then you get into case studies immediately. See that? We get into case studies right away. Okay. So I didn't even talk about the program. I asked you questions about you. I asked you questions about where you want to be. And then I went into case studies of before and after situations that we've accomplished, right? After that, I get into the history of the company. Then I get into the thesis. So I start going into the thesis, and I basically start looking at, what specifically I need buy-in into the thesis. I need someone to essentially look through, what I'm offering and then ultimately buy into, the overall underarching sort of thesis of what I'm doing. So our thesis is that the more outflow we do, the more times you pump out your offer, the more inflow you're going to get, the more increased appointments you're going to get, the more sales you're going to get based on the outflow you do. That's our thesis. So in order to go to the next stage to talk about our program, we first need them to buy into the thesis before we can, it doesn't make sense to proceed to talk about our program if they don't agree with that, which is more outflow equals more inflow. If they don't agree with that, then ultimately your program will not resonate with them. So that's number one thing. What's your thesis? Is it that, through these techniques, you get more mindfulness or you get more clarity, which provides what, right? So ultimately just, clarifying what that thesis does. Once they buy in, then you get into the specifics of the program. You can go through the whole concept, explain the whole thing. Once you explain your whole thing, Alice, that's when you go to offer number one. Okay, so you're going to give your first offer, which is, like I said, here is where you give your first offer in the demo. Okay. After you give your first offer, and the way you position it is very important as well. So like, look how we position it as, like, I'll explain to you how we position it, the offer. So look, if you were to hire a full-time entry-level employee to take care of this for you, Sally, you would have to pay $3,000 to $4,000 a month for just an entry-level, even just for like, entry-level, like, what's the word? Minimum wage employee. You're paying $3,000 to $4,000 a month regardless, right? But if you do that, you're getting a minimum wage employee. You're not getting a specialized and dedicated team to actually execute this for you. So likely that person will post on Instagram and stuff like that, right? But if you were to hire an outbound sales team, you'd need to pay about $10,000 a month. So, but you will lose quality control of your sales process if you outsource your sales process, right? Now, if you were to purchase an advanced sales training alone, this would cost anywhere between $25K and $100K, but you would have to do it all yourself because it's training, and which requires more of your time if you do that. Now, if you were to hire a business growth consultant, you'd have to pay $5K a month for a minimum of 12 months. Now, we are only charging two fees: an initial setup fee to build out your funnel, then a monthly marketing fee thereafter to bring in the qualified sales appointments. I say the first price points, okay? And then I show the pricing slide, and then I summarize what they're getting for that price points. And I say with the initial investment of this, they're going to get this. And I explain to the timeline, basically after dev phase, we're going to do this. I reiterate the case studies again, Alice. So you see, like, before I even ask them if they want to proceed, I reiterate the case studies again, and then I put a power line. So this is one of those power lines that I told you about over here, okay? This is a power line. And I said, look, first, I say, Alice, please excuse my persistence, but this is why my clients retain me. I scratch, I claw, I kill for good ROI and low CPLs. It may not seem like much when you're talking about a couple $100 in ad spend, but when you're talking about $3,000, $4,000 in your pocket, it starts to drive a little interest. Now, anyone you're dealing with should be able to take 50K of your money and put it into some lead form ads, turn it into 60K and give you 10K profit with a measly 12% return on your money. That's not what I'm looking to do here. I'm looking to tap you into my program, get you involved with one of my winning strategies. Alice, have the ROI go from 5K to 10X to 15X, take that same 50K and turn it to 100, if not 150K. That's when I'll have an impact on your bottom line. And that's when I'll have your respect. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go with the firm minimum, our standard package. If your calendar does not get flooded with leads and doesn't do exactly what I'd say it will do, call me up and fire me as your marketer. I'll cut my losses and you'll have your money set back. But when I'm right with the results and I've shown you a stream of inbound sales opportunities, you tell a couple of your buddies about me and we work in size. I'll go and draft a service agreement now to be sent with you, to be sent out to you within 60 seconds. Please confirm you received it, and let's go through that right now. And that's when the sales rep goes and sends the contract, says the steps to complete the contract. And then look, that's when you say, does this make sense? And you basically ask for the close. Okay. And when you ask for the close, you have to do it in a way where you're basically, just saying, look, I want to proceed. Can we proceed? And if they say no, you're expected to get your first no here, Alice. You're expected to get a no here. Right when you get your no, that's when you give your offer number 2, okay, which is your incentive-based pricing. So basically what you're doing here is you're saying, okay, look, I'm going to shorten the sales cycle for you. We offer incentive-based pricing if you can make the commitment today, same day sale. Okay. We did the math and we found that time saved by going back and forth is worth at least $1,000. So what I'll do is I'll slash off $1,000 from the initial setup fee of $6,000 to make it $5,000 only if you sign right now. And then you reiterate, here's what you get again. And then you say, what do you say, John? Does this sound fair? And then if he says no again, then you now need to remove the risk and offer a cool off period. Okay. So you say, okay, now, basically like I'm going to remove the risk, offer a service guarantee, and or wait for the second no. You offer better terms. So better terms would be like a 2-pay, 3-pay, maybe more enhanced terms. But really what you need to do on the third offer is explain the ROI justification. You need to say, okay, look, the expectation is $1 in equals $2 out, and same thing for you, Alice. You need to position your offer that way. If they spend the $497 on your course, sure, it's going to deliver mindfulness and a healthier wellness, for them. But now what is that going to do for them in their life? How can you tie that mindfulness and that expected wellness that you're going to achieve by working with them? How can you now tie that back to your offer? How can you now tie that back to a financial gain, right? How can you tie back the outcome of being more mindful and having better wellness? How can that be tied back to increased financials, right? And then you explain the ROI. There always has to be a return on investment. You have to explain the ROI justification, and then you ask for the sale again, okay? Now, in the back of your scripts or in the back of anything that you're doing, I only created this because I have sales reps that do this for me. I was doing this all myself in the beginning, without any scripts or anything like that. So scripts are not necessarily needed. You just have to understand the gist of how your sales process needs to work, okay? You need to be able to be improvising on the call as well. You need to be able to be swift on your feet. You need to maintain a lot of confidence and a lot of conviction as well. Conviction means you're 100% sure of what you're talking about. And then you need to slap these rebuttals, Alice, after I spoke to you about, all these non-liquid ones. You need to slap those there into your script as well. And like, look, you only need a script if you're delegating this to someone else to do this for you, right? If you're closing yourself, then you should be doing this yourself. But ultimately, the link should be available in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and throw this. Bang. And that will be that. So you guys can go ahead and take a look. And we can go from there. Okay. Perfect. So, Alice, with that being said, I just wanted to make sure that this kind of answered the first part. The thing I just went over, that was this part. Okay. That was the how to offer value in terms of closing a deal. And this can be done in any industry, right? You just have to ultimately figure out ways to shorten and sweeten up your deal manually. And then once you have that manual process in place, you'll be able to, no problem, go ahead and create the automatic follow-up. Okay. So the automatic follow-up is, we use a nurture sequence. So this is what I was showing you guys, I believe last time on the call. This is the type of automatic follow-up that you can deploy pretty easily and get a lot of results with it. So here, let me show you this. So do you see how, when the deal flow leads, they subscribe, they become a lead, they wait a day, there's 15 people waiting a day, and then they get an email, and then they wait 6 hours, they get another email, and then that's this email, they wait another day, they get another email, wait another day, get another email. And so this is called corporate-wide follow-up, Alice. So this follow-up needs to happen on a regular basis, okay? So you need this automatic follow-up to continue regularly. Now, I actually have a template for this. I do, with all these nurture sequences. However, I wrote it out on behalf of the mortgage clients. So hold on. But it's the same sequence as mine. So the exact same sequence I wrote for myself. I wrote it out here in Google Doc format. And I wrote it out in the eyes of a potential mortgage agent. So all we have, it's the same text. Like, look, I'll prove that to you. Like, look, let's click on this email. Over here, it says, one second, it says, if you clients for first name, if you need more clients first name, this email's for you. It says, hold on one second. It says, if you need a foolproof way to obtain your mortgage, this email's for you. Do you see what I mean? So we changed it up, but it's the exact same copy, just swapped to the mortgage offer. Okay. I'm going to replace this again in the chat, and then you guys will have this as well. Yeah. And then set up your automatic follow-up. So you need this going out. And there's lots of videos in the curriculum on how to set this up, but this needs to go out. This builds almost like, Alice, it's like, think about it like this. You don't want to appear like a small business. You want to appear like an enterprise company. Even though you're a coach consultant offering a course and offering a specific piece of information, like you need to appear like you're Rogers or like your Apple or like your, some big enterprise company. It just, people want to work with more trustworthy brands and more trustworthy entities, right? So for you, it's like, this will accomplish that for you. This will help you build that level of credibility and corporate enterprise sort of experience to the mix. And essentially, yeah, you'll be able to, you'll be able to operate everything directly, from this system directly. Active Campaign is what we use. But there's other systems directly. You can do it right in the Variant CRM as well. There's lots of ways to automate this without any additional cost. I'm paying about $150 a month additionally for this tool. You don't have to. You can build it all in your own systems. But yeah, this is a great tool for. It's actually pretty much a CRM too. You can manage your deals in here. I don't use it as a CRM, but you can create a pipeline and like manage that all within here. That's what they're trying to migrate towards. And yeah, and then ultimately, so that's this automatic sort of process. Now, with automatic, you can't have automatic calling, but what you can have is automatic calling to leave voicemail drops. Okay, so let me show you. Oops,